Hey guys, what's goody? You are tuning into Life with Zay DeAndre. Ooh. And we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your boy Ike Nitty from New York City. Now, first things first, I just want to tell you guys that my weave, my $700 weave that y'all know about, it is on point today. Of course, you guys can't see it, but I'm letting you know that it's on point. Okay? Okay. Second, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much to everyone who tuned into my first episode. I received some good feedback, and now on this episode, it is going to be about me coming out as a black gay man. So get your Kool-Aid, get your Ciroc, and we will get up in this story. Coming out was not as hard as I thought it would be. However, I still feel like it's hard because something I learned is that you can sympathize with anyone, but you can't empathize with anyone. And I feel like I can't talk to my mom about certain things because she doesn't know what it feels like. She doesn't know what it feels like to be bullied. She doesn't know what it feels like to be neglected by one or both of your parents. She doesn't know what it's like to feel like the world is against you because of your sexual orientation. She only can sympathize with me. And that makes it hard because sometimes when you sympathize with someone, you kind of don't know really what to say because, again, you haven't been through it. So, how can you really give them any advice on what to do or what they should do? And that's what makes it harder for me. Now, I'm sure everyone has different experiences, but this is just mine. I just I can talk to her now, but I still have those moments where I'm like, I can't really speak on it because, again, she hasn't been through it. So I feel like I wouldn't get any good advice. But on another note, when I came out to my mom, it was, I want to say 2011 or 2010. That's when I told her about me being gay. She pretty much hit me with the she knew. She knew since I was a little boy. She knew because of who I would hang around, the way I would walk, the way I would act, the stuff I like to do. And she told me that, some people were asking her if I'm gay because of the way I am. And she told me she would always protect me or cover me up or whatever she said, just to show that she loves and cares about me because she wouldn't let anybody talk bad about me to this day, even when I was young. And when I would get called a sissy or a faggot or queen, any of those things, I didn't know really what they meant because I was a little boy. But when I told her, she sat me down and told me how the stuff I should know about being part of the LGBT community. And as I was getting older, I was doing research and talking to people about it, but I didn't know that people were being bullied. I didn't know that people were being neglected. I didn't know people were committing suicide. I didn't know any of that because I didn't I knew about the LGBT community, but I didn't know what they go through in depth, you know? And it took that conversation to realize that, wow, not only am I a black man, I'm gay at that. And it's hard for us because they look at us as violent people or we just can't have anything good in life. And that's not true. So when I was starting to learn more about the LGBT community, I was making more friends. I was, talking to people and trying to empathize with them. And I'm realizing that I'm not alone. I'm really not. Like, I see that people have gone through the same stuff I went through, or even worse stuff. And it's really heartbreaking because why is it that who we choose to love is such a problem for other people? I'll never understand that. I feel like as it's our life. Why does it matter who we choose to sleep with? It's not you. And to this day, I really wish I could go back and just not hold my tongue the way I did, because I just didn't want to get kicked out of school. I didn't want to get jumped. I was afraid of a lot of stuff. So I just chose to hold my tongue often. And now to this day, I have clapbacks for days because I don't allow anyone to pick on me, because that's just not going to happen. If there's a problem, I have no problem trying to solve it. Now, as far as the fighting, we can argue all day. You know what I'm saying? If you're on one side trying to call me out my name, that's fine. But the moment you step in my personal space or you put your hands on me, that's when we're going to have a problem. Other than that, I could care less what you say and or do. And I just really just take things a day at a time, because I still have my moments where I break down, but it's not because I'm gay. It's more so I just feel like something's really wrong with me, and I just feel like I need help, which I'm getting now. And I don't know, it's just the more stories I hear about my community getting killed, beat up, committing suicide, it just breaks my heart, because I don't ever want to be in that place. Well, I've been bullied, like I said, but I don't want to ever get to the point to where I would commit suicide because I can't take life anymore. Like, I've been through a lot and I'm still here, and I still have my mom who cares about me, and I still have some wonderful friends who check on me. Shout out to them. And I'm just remaining optimistic like I always do. But I can't lie and say that I don't have emotional breakdowns, because I do. Like, I had one the other day in front of my friends, and because I was talking about my past a little bit, and it just brought back memories, and I ended up having a breakdown. But I'm human. It happens in life. So, bottom line is, my mom told me that, it's hard for LGBT people, and she doesn't want anything to happen to me. Any problems, any situations, she wants me to come to her and talk to her about it. And, like I said, it's hard because I feel like she can't empathize with me. So it's like, I feel like I would be wasting my breath because you can't relate to it. And what would you even say that would make me feel better? But sometimes all you need is for someone to listen to you and give you a hug and say, "You are enough. I love you. You're beautiful," anything. And that could go a long way, because a simple conversation with someone can change your life, and it can stop you from doing something you can't ever come back from. And that's what I learned about talking to my mom about having my emotional breakdowns. And, again, I'm getting help, and I'm, of course, taking it step by step, but it's a process. It's not easy, guys. And anything that you are going through, it's only temporary. And it's not good to hold things in, and it's not good to let your emotions get the best of you. But it happens. It really does. But I'm telling you, sometimes you just need to hold your breath, count to 10, and just breathe in slowly. Just take a deep breath and let it all go. And everyone has different ways of dealing with things, and that's fine. But that's something I do, because I just don't want to let my emotions get the best of me. And that's just how it is. So, I was very happy to come out to my mom. Like, my mom is very accepting of it, and she still the same. Like, she hasn't neglected me. She hasn't ever made me feel like I'm not welcome. She always checks on me, see how I'm doing. Do I have a boyfriend? Am I talking to somebody? All types of stuff. So it gets easier, but I still have my moments. And that's a problem I have to work within myself. But, you know, again, guys, I'm human. So you can't blame me for that. And if you do, what's up? Because, again, my hands work. A slap don't got no name to it. Just go back and forth, up and down, and round and round. But so now that was the positives. Now my father. So when told him, I told him like 2011, I want to say 2010, 2011. I was still in high school. I told him I really need to just tell you something and I just don't know how you're going to take it. And I was contemplating one day about telling him, because my father is in North Carolina, I'm in New Jersey, of course. And I was like, no, I don't want to tell him. I don't want him to stop talking to me. I don't want to feel like he hates me. I just kept thinking the worst. And I kept overthinking it, which caused me to get mad, which caused me to get upset, which caused me to cry. Like, it was so many mixed emotions I had. Like, I didn't know really where to turn or what to do at that point. So I went to my mom one day and I was like, Mom, I don't know if I should tell him. She was like, you know what, this is what you're going to do. Go down to North Carolina, spend as much time as you can down there before summer's over. Tell him, and then if you feel like he doesn't want to be in your life, you just gonna have to accept it and move on. Isaiah, you're a beautiful person. You have a lot to offer. You've come so far, and I'm excited for you in the future. So, after talking to my mom and she gave me some good advice, I said, okay, I'm gonna tell him. So I flew to North Carolina. I saw my dad. He looked very different. Well, muscular because he works out. Well, I haven't seen him in a while now, so I don't know how he looks. But he was muscular. My dad used to love the gym, and he was a bodybuilder. He was, every time I seen him, he was flexing on something, but he wasn't photogenic, which I thought was weird because if I had his body, I would be all over social media because my body is just bomb. I mean, my body is bomb now. Don't get it twisted, but yeah. So one day, I was reading this book that's called Boy Meets Boy, and it was a book on the LGBT community. So I was reading it and I was thinking about like what reaction I was gonna get from him. Like I didn't know, guys, and it was really starting to get the best of me. So I was in the living room. I was in his living room reading it. And he came in the living room and was like, Isaiah, what's on your mind? Like, let's have a conversation. So I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and I told him, I said, Dad, I have to tell you something. And he was like, okay, you have my full attention. What's going on? So I gave him the book. So he didn't read it. He just read the cover. So he read the cover and his reaction kind of changed. Like it was like he was in a good mood smiling, but the minute he read the book title, it's like like he got sad, but he just didn't show it. So I pretty much told him, I said, Dad, listen, I'm gay. Like I have no interest in women. I've been like this all my life. I never had any attraction to women. This is who I am. And I need you to accept it. And I would love to have my father in my life, but I just don't know how you're going to take it. So I'm taking this opportunity to tell you that I am gay because I feel like you deserve to know. And if it wasn't me talking to my mom, I'm not sure you ever would have known because I kept, again, getting mixed emotions and I just didn't know how you were going to take it. So I'm here to, of course, spend time with you because it's been a while. And I'm just want you to know the real me. So what he said, like, okay, so he took kind of a long time to respond at first. It wasn't like he immediately started talking. Like he was looking at me, looking at the book title, looking like he kept doing that. So I'm just like, okay, I'm probably not gonna get a good reaction out of this. So let me just close my eyes and pray because I don't know how this is gonna go. So pretty much he told me that he wasn't surprised. He knew because of how I was walking, how I was acting, who I was always around because I always hanged around females. Like I just loved females' energy. Like I never was into football, basketball, soccer, baseball, wrestling. Well, fake wrestling, but I was never into all that. I was always into, but then again, I wasn't into like Barbies and makeup and all that. I love to watch them do stuff like that, but I never was into it. Like football would annoy me. It would annoy me. I never was into football and stuff like that. Like sports, no. But like watching girls do their makeup, talk about boys, you know, how they shave and they don't like hair. Like I loved conversations like that. It was just what I liked. So I also remember when I used to live with him for about a year or two, and I remember how I feel like he wanted to change me because he would make me, not he wouldn't make me, but he would want me to watch sports with him, which I would try, but it just wasn't catching my attention. Or there were times where I would play I think it was a Dreamcast, that one game system. I think it was a Dreamcast, and we would play basketball or something, and I'm just like, no, this none of this is interesting me. And I remember sometimes when we would walk outside, he would always tell me to stop switching, walk like a man, stop acting like a female, all types of stuff like that. And I just was trying to do it, but my feminine side just came out all the time. Like I never was the type to just switch who I am. Yes, I do switch. I do act like a female, but I don't dress like one. I'm still a man at the end of the day, but I just feel like I am, or honestly, when I think about it, guys, I tell myself that I am a woman just trapped in a man's body. That's literally what I tell myself. Because but the only thing is, like, I don't like women's clothes. I do love dressing like a guy. I just, again, I'm very feminine. I do switch, and this is just who I am. You can take it or leave it. So, he told me that my older brother, and him had a conversation about this, and he told me that my brother was always defending me because when I would just be around my older brother, he would take me and my little brother to the park, and he would play basketball, and I would just be with the girls just chilling, laughing, and having a good time. And some of his friends would just be like, is your brother gay or whatever? And he would lie and tell them no. But of course I didn't know anything about gay, lesbian, bisexual, none of that, because I was young. I was very, very young. So he pretty much told me he wasn't shocked, and that he was happy that I told him, and he thinks that this will bring our relationship closer. And I was a little confused with that because our relationship was never really close. And I feel like it's because I am gay. So, he gave me a hug. He told me he loves me and he still wants what's best for me. And as long as I'm treated like a prince, then he doesn't, care about who I choose to sleep with. So in my head, I'm like, I feel like he's not telling me how he really feels. He's just telling me what I want to hear. And that was really upsetting me because it's like, I'd rather you tell me that you don't accept it and you don't want anything to do with me rather than you just saying you love me and you accept me. But that's just how I felt. So he left me in the living room. We hugged and stuff. He left me in the living room. He went in his room, closed the door. So I remember like maybe 10 minutes later, I had to use the bathroom. So I had to walk past his room to get to the bathroom because he has his own bathroom. Because it was him, his wife, and my two brothers. So I remember I had to walk past his room to get to the bathroom. And I remember coming out and I remember it was, well, his wife and my other brothers weren't in the house. It was just me and him. So I remember him sniffling, I'm sorry. And he was crying. And I'm just sitting there listening because I never heard him cry before. So the fact that I told him that I'm gay and he is crying, it kind of broke my heart because it only broke my heart because I feel like he didn't tell me how he really felt. And in my head I'm just like, why didn't you just tell me? Like I would have been way more happy if you just said, I don't want you in my life, or, just something. Like, tell me how you really feel. Don't make it seem like you accept me when you really don't. Because that reaction that I got after, it just upset me even more. So I started to knock on the door. I kid you not, I started to knock on the door and just say, like, Dad, are you okay? But my stubbornness, I said no. I went back in the living room, put my headphones in, and that was the end. Like, I just couldn't say anything else after that. And the next day, we spoke or whatever, and it wasn't really much conversations we were having since then. Well, I think that was my last day in North Carolina when I told him. So the next morning I got on the plane, we talked for a little bit, but it wasn't anything about what we talked about that night. And, that was it. So right then and there, I should have known that he probably didn't want to really have anything to do with me at that point. But I was remaining so optimistic that I wanted my father in my life. I did. I really did. All these years, I would cry, I would be upset, and I never would talk to my mom about it because I didn't want her to go off on him. Because I know how my mother is. My mother is very protective of me. And if I told her those were the reasons, I know she would get up on him. And I just didn't want that. So I decided to just stay quiet, hide my emotions, and, that wasn't all right for me to do. To this day, I wish I could go back and just talk to my mom and maybe she would have said something. But then I felt like if I did and he started to communicate more, that was only because she said something, And, me and him weren't really talking and it would upset me. And to this day, guys, I still feel like I played a part in us not speaking because I didn't really reach out either. So, because it takes two. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like a father should reach out more than the son. That's just me. But everyone's different. So, even though he wasn't communicating with me as much, I wasn't doing the same. But I was at some point, but I still feel like I wasn't getting the same in return. So that's what caused me to really just part ways from it. And yes, I am at a place to where I can be vulnerable and talk about this without getting emotional, but there are days where I honestly still sit down and think about stuff like this because it's not all right. And I've also spoken to people who don't have their fathers in their life because of who they choose to sleep with. And that just goes to show that I'm not alone in this world. And, you know, the fact that I'm still here holding my own, working, doing what I got to do for me, that says a lot. And if my father just doesn't want to be in my life because of who I am, then that's just what it is. Now, we are trying to build a relationship now, but at the same time, I'm still kind of on that, you know, fence because I feel like the moment I get my hopes up, things are going to go left, and I don't want that. So I'm just choosing to really keep my distance at this point because I don't have any more room for any heartbreaks from my dad. And, you know, I'm growing up, and a little something I want to tell you guys as well. I do want to have kids in the future. I really do. In the future, I do want to have kids. I want to have kids because I never I never want my kids to feel like they don't have their father. I want them to always know that I'm here regardless of who you choose to love, who you choose to sleep with, anything. I'm here. I will always be there for you. I will check on you. You're going to know I got you, and you're going to know I care. Because anyone can say the words I love you and not mean it. Now, I'm not saying my father doesn't love me. I think he does. It's just that he has a weird way of showing it, if that makes sense. He just has a weird way of showing it. And my kids will know that I got them. I'll always be here, and I will never let them feel like I'm neglecting them because of who they are. If I have a kid who is a man but wants to be a transgender, that's totally fine. I'm still gonna love you the same. If they end up wanting to just live life being straight, I'm still gonna love them. Whatever they decide to do, that's their life. But they're gonna know their dad, me, I got them at the end of the day. And I'm really just so happy that I have my mom in my life because I don't know where I would be if she didn't do the things that she did for me. Because I was in a place in my life where I didn't know how I would act if both my mom and dad acted the same way because of me being gay. Like, I don't know what I would have done. So the fact that my mom was there for me and she was more so pushing me to be myself and wanting me to talk about anything with her, it makes me feel so good in life because I know that I will always have someone there for me regardless. And of course I have friends, but my mom is always going to be my number one best friend because she raised me, she brought me into this world, and she wants what is best for me. And I'm so, so thankful for that. Now, as far as my dad, I don't dislike my dad. I don't have anything against him. I just feel like I can't look at him the same. Like, I'll never be able to look at him the same because you made me feel like I can't be who I am, and you neglected me for so long for being gay. It's just, how can I come back from that? Like, and the thing is, my heart is so big, guys. So if we were to have a conversation about this again, I still feel like I would forgive him, but I'll never forget. So there'll always be something in the back of my mind telling me he's going to do the same thing, and then I'm going to get heartbroken. And I really don't want that. So I would rather just stay in my lane, stay where I am, and just hope for the best. Like, me and my dad talk a little bit more, but it's not how a father and son should talk. And again, I am still playing a part in this because I'm not really communicating either, but I have my reasons to. It's just, I just don't want the same thing to happen again. And, I remain optimistic, but I don't know. Sometimes you just can't really think that way, I guess. You just can't. I just want to be, I'm at a place in my life where I'm okay. Like, yes, I still think about it, but it hasn't brought me to tears. It hasn't upset me. So at this point, if we talk, we just talk. If we don't, we don't. And I want you guys to know that it's not easy, but as long as you really stay focused on who you are as a person, as an individual, as a man and or woman, you will be all right. Because at the end of the day, as long as you stay true to who you are, nothing else matters. Because there are so many people who go through even worse stuff than you. So, not saying that it's okay, but it is okay, because you are human and we're all beautiful in our own way. And that is just the way it is. So if anyone out there can empathize with me about this, all I will say is that it took me a while. It did. I ended up having to get a life coach to get me through this because I got tired of crying. I got tired of being mad about it. I got tired of being sad about it. I got me a life coach, and he pretty much held me accountable for the stuff I did and the stuff I said. And to know that he helped me through this, I couldn't be more thankful. And I want you guys to know that if any of you ever want to talk about something like this, my inbox is always open. Or you can message me on social media. And that's just how it is. And that's where we will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Life with Say DeAndre. Mwah.